ready for a ride. If you've ever read Ezekiel, you know that it doesn't, when you read Isaiah, you get like 5 chapters before you go into a crazy throne room with spiritual beings. I mean, Ezekiel's going to hit us right out the gate. So it's fun. Last week, we just kind of looked at some background, some context, give us an idea of where they're at, what time period this is. So we're just going to kind of brush up on that, and then we're going to tackle this thing just kind of head on tonight, and then we'll kind of we'll be sorting this out for weeks and weeks to come, because there's a lot of stuff in here, and it kind of sets up the whole book here. So let's just someone read 1 through 3 again. Just take it off in bites here.
In my 30th year, in the 4th month, on the 5th day, while I was among the exiles by the Kibar River, the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. On the 5th of the month, it was the 5th year of the exile of King Jehoiakim, the word of the Lord came to Ezekiel the priest, the son of Uzziah, by the Kibar River in the land of Babylonians. There the hand of the Lord was on him.
That's good. All right, so how old is he?
30.
He's 30. What's his profession? He's a priest. Anyone know the significance of a 30-year-old priest? What's that? That's when their ministry starts. Yeah. So when you turn 30, you start serving at the temple. You're like an apprentice until then, right? You learn, you grow. You get more knowledge, but then on your 30th birthday, your ministry starts. It's pretty significant. So we got this kind of a double tragedy here. For one, he's a war refugee. He's been stripped away from his land, stripped away from his family. But now, where is he supposed to be right now? At the temple, right? He's grown his whole life waiting for this moment to turn 30 so he could start serving his godly appointed duty, and he's nowhere near Jerusalem. He's nowhere near a temple. This would have been the culmination of all the preparation that he's done, and this is where the book begins. As we kind of get into this vision, just a quick note, and I don't know, it needs to be said, but I think it needs to be said. We've kind of had a lot of these conversations with Genesis, but the imagery, the thought process, the way that these ancient cultures understood the world is very different, right, than how we understand it, right? Any Hubble telescope going on at this time? No, right? So very, very different. And we kind of have to understand that it's this, in how they understand it's a 3-tiered cosmos, right? It's God's space up above. Like when I look up, I just see God's space. And then our space here where God comes and overlaps. And then what's below us? Huh? No? If anyone remember that conversation from Genesis?
The underworld.
Huh?
The underworld.
Yeah. How they understood it was these deep, dark waters. That was the Tehom. That's the dangerous waters. That's the water that comes and brings chaos. And God orders the waters below and the waters above. So the water is dangerous. Below us. Now, we might think that's not exactly right, is what we know. I don't know what's underneath us. I've never been there. I've been in a mine before. It's just dark. We got mantle, we got core, we got groundwater, and then we start to get into some pretty hot magma and lava. That sounds like chaos to me. So although our thinking is different, it's not all that different, right? So live in a world of a 3-tiered cosmos. And throughout this whole book, and we're going to continue to ask this question, and just we're going to have this on our minds as we go forth through this. The question becomes, and it's the same for us as it was for them, why is God's glory leaving Jerusalem? They're in exile. Ezekiel's gonna talk a lot about this, but this is the crux of the problem: is why does God no longer want to be there? They destroyed the temple, but He actually leaves. Any thoughts? Yeah. Huh? Yeah. We're gonna learn that there's disobedience. They deny God for so long that His presence will leave. Is God going to be anywhere that He's not wanted? No. What's that? Yes. The covenant's gone. And is this just like, oh, we had a bad week, we broke a covenant? No. Years, generations, centuries and centuries. Is this like a snap vindictive judgment of God?
It's a long time.
Years and years and years. Prophets and prophets and prophets. Repent, turn, change. Sometimes they do, but then they're right back to it. Welcome to the book of Kings.
Not much difference if he was writing the book today.
I hope it's not our story, but this is the caution that we're being given. Like, does God ever stop moving? No, that's the question. And He doesn't. He continues to move. He continues to provide a remnant. He continues to call men like Ezekiel, even though he's not doing what he thought he would be doing. He still has purpose. And God's still going to move, and He's still going to work. And He's still going to blow His mind with this. So he sees a divine vision. A divine vision. Says, in my 30th year, among the other exiles by the river, I saw seeings of Elohim. That's the Hebrew. I saw seeings. And oh boy, did he ever. Yeah. So he has this divine vision. What we see is that Ezekiel begins to see a realm that's been hidden from him until now. So he gets a peek at behind the curtain. And we're going to talk about it. And then, what's that? It is quite complicated. And tonight, really, as we go through this, I'm not going to try to explain it. Just as we read it and kind of slow down, the picture starts to come into a little more fullness for us. So, yeah. And then remember, we talked last week about, it starts in the first person, Ezekiel, verses 2 and 3 switches the third person, right? We get the director's commentary about what's happening. And so we're gonna kind of have that back and forth as we study through this book. And then this vision has 3 parts, and it culminates with a human-like figure upon it, and we're like, whoa, who is that? That's my favorite part about this. All right, let's start. Someone read 4 to 14.
I saw a great storm coming toward me from the north. Driving for it, a huge cloud flashed with lightning and shone with brilliant light. The fire inside the cloud glowed like a gleaming amber. From the center of the cloud came 4 living beings that looked human, except that each had 4 faces and 2 pairs of wings. Their legs were straight like human legs, but their feet were split like calves' feet and shone like burnished bronze. Beneath each of their wings, I could see human hands. The wings of each living being touched the wings of the 2 beings beside it. The living beings were able to fly in any direction without turning around. Each had a human face in the front, the face of a lion on the right side, the face of an ox on the left side, and the face of an eagle at the back. Each had 2 pairs of outstretched wings. One pair stretched out to touch the wings of the living beings on either side of it, and the other pair covered its bodies. They went in whatever direction the Spirit chose, and they moved straight forward in all directions without having to turn around. The living beings looked like bright coals of fire or brilliant torches, and it looked as though lightning was flashing back and forth among them. And the living beings darted to and fro like flashes of lightning.
How we doing? All right. That's all, No, it's not all. We're just getting started here. Well, there's so much symbolism, Barb. So much symbolism. And we're going to talk a lot about this symbolism. But just notice the progression. We start with a storm cloud, right? And then there's an object within the storm cloud. And looks like this flat, glowing object. Some was, I thought, not really relevant, but it's fun to talk about. The word glowing object is only used here in the Bible. It's not found anywhere else in the Hebrew Bible. You won't find it. But what I did see is that modern Hebrew uses this word, and they use it. It's the word for electricity. So, oh, that's kind of cool.
It said too that the elements that they use was some sort of electricity and they killed some.
There's power. There's a lot of energy there, animating energy. All
What
right?
word did you
I'm
say
glad
that was?
you brought up the Ark of the Covenant. It's going to be very important for our talk tonight, because we're talking about God's presence.
What
right now
word
we're
did you
talking
say?
about weird
Can you hear me?
creatures with 4 faces and
2 wings, 2 pairs.
yeah, exactly. Jeff, something, Gabe?
What's the name? What did you say is the word the same as electricity?
I didn't write it down. Oh, you got it there? No, okay. Okay. It was like, it started with a P, but
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
write it. But it's the word for a glowing object. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got the windstorm, immense cloud with flashing light, brilliant light. There's this center glowing metal thing. And in the fire looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human. All right, so we're like, okay, so this is going to look like a man. Its appearance was human. Well, there's some hands, and then that's about where that stops. Yeah. No more likeness to the humans after that. 4 faces, 4 wings, right? So very much not human. Straight legs, so it's standing upright. But is it regular feet? No, calf's feet. So burnished bronze. So if you think about burnished bronze, right? They're not making mirrors yet. This is what they would have been used for mirrors. You polish bronze up real good, and that's how you see your reflection. So it's got this mirror-like quality to it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. When a lot of times when we see these heavenly beings, that's exactly what you see, or how it's talked about, and they're talked about in different ways. But yeah. And under their wings, they have hands. At first, I was like, what is with these hands? But then later on, we're going to see these hands like reach out and they do stuff. So, yeah. All have faces and wings. And the wings of one touch the wings of another. We've heard that before, right? With cherubim? Where at? Over the Ark of the, well, yeah. So over the Ark of the Covenant. and then on top of the Ark of the Covenant, you got the big cherubim and the little cherubim, and what sits above the little cherubim on the Ark of the Covenant? That's the mercy seat, right? That's God's presence. The more we talk about this, we're going to start painting a picture here. The wings of the one touch the wings of another, and can they go in different directions? They do, but they don't turn. Yeah, but they don't turn.
You just like go back and forth like a hummingbird.
Kind of like a humming, like some of the vehicles that have like the crab mode. Yeah, you can go. Yeah. Yeah, but they don't turn. So that's real important for this, that they don't turn. They're following the Spirit. Yes, so important to what's happening. So what are the faces look like? Human.
Flying.
Lion.
Ox. Eagle.
Yep.
An eagle.
So these are representing the all of creation, right? You got the human form, you've got a wild animal, you've got a domesticated animal, and then you've got an animal of the skies, right? So just in how this is set up, they represent all of creation. And two wings spreading upward, touching the next wing next to it. And then what's the other two wings doing? Covering their bodies. What's that all about?
Modest.
Huh?
Modest.
I think modesty kind of gets to it. It's a reverence. We saw this in Isaiah with the seraphim, actually. In Isaiah 6. You see this covering going on there as well. And then verse 12, each one went straight ahead. Wherever the Spirit would go, they would go without turning as they went. So what's guiding them? You want to remember the Hebrew? The Ruach. That's the Ruach. Where were we first introduced to the Ruach? Genesis 1. That's what's hovering over the waters. That's what takes the chaos out of Genesis 1 and brings order to it. And that's God's Spirit. That's God's presence. That's God's animating. Presence is the only way, right? That I can. But it's animating. When the Spirit moves, things happen. And that's, as we think about where this is all heading to, like Ezekiel 37, the valley of the dry bones, right? Those things are dead until God's Spirit gets breathed into them. And the word for breath is the same. Spirit and breath are the same word, ruach. And so is wind, right? So a windstorm blows in, you got breath, and then you've got Spirit. So just all different ways to talk about God's presence here. And then in verse 13, what's the appearance look like? Turning coals. So if that's not enough, these weird creatures, not weird to me just because that's not my world.
All around.
Yes. Yeah. And they're on fire.
Same way.
And fire. And is this anything you want to come into contact with? Not me personally. All right. Brightness from fire, lightning coming out, has the appearance of lightning. All right. How are we doing now? Like this is some wild stuff and crazy stuff. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Have we even got a picture of God yet? No. No.
Was it like a prelude?
Yes. Exactly what it's like. It's exactly what it's like. At the end of this vision, we won't get to that till later in chapter 3. Ezekiel has to just sit and do nothing for 7 days.
Yeah.
He's so terrified. He's so scared. He's trying to process all this. He does nothing for 7 days after he sees this. So that kind of puts you in his head of what he is seeing. Like he goes comatose and just like, what just happened to me? And just the pattern of how all this is oriented and structured is disorienting for us as we read it. It just keeps coming in these waves. Every time you start to process what in the world is this all about, right? You get hit with something that's even crazier. And I think that's the author's way of trying to put us into Ezekiel's shoes and try to have us see what he's seeing. Although there's no way we could understand the fullness of what he's experienced, but the way this kind of just keeps coming at us is this pattern, and it's disorienting, and we're just.
Does he mention its size? I mean, just like, I guess they're just like a man size. I mean, it doesn't say they're gigantic.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I was trying to picture like how big are these things.
Yeah, I never saw.
Right?
I imagine they're sizable.
You're 6 foot tall, so let's just say you go with like 2 things your height are like double and freaking that. Here, you've
got some, and they're on fire, double wings, and they look like polished bronze. And
Right, go further in, where it's talking about the wheels, also wheels tall and awesome.
yes, yep. And they're on top of the wheels. So this.
Usually, if they were tiny and they just flew into this room right now, someone would be scared. I mean,
Yeah.
it's different. But you would be scared.
It is meant to be. We are meant to read this and be like scared for him. Like this is some stuff that's hard to bear. So we got this vertical creature. It's got a head. It's got these wings. It's got legs and feet. And each creature's wings touches another's creature. What kind of shape are we looking at? So you got 4 wings, and if they're all touching each other, basically a square.
Yeah.
We got a square going on, because if they're here, I could have done a right. So in each direction they're going, do they even have to turn their head? They don't.
You have eagles everywhere.
That's right. They're seeing everywhere.
You have eagle eyes in the back.
Oh, they got eyes everywhere. We're fixing to get that. Yeah, four cherubim with 4 faces.
They have 6 other wings.
They have 2 sets. Two sets of wings. One's up, and they're holding something. We'll get to that. And then the other is just covering themselves.
Each body is doing something.
Each body has, the wings are out up here and there. And then so all 4 of them basically make a base, a platform. No spoiler alerts. Okay. 4 faces, they never turn, and they're motivated by the same thing in Genesis 1 that changed chaos into order, right? The Spirit is motivating. The Spirit is the energy. The Spirit is the presence that moves, and wherever the Spirit goes, where is this thing going? That direction. Let's keep going. I'm going to read 15 to 21. It gets better. You thought the eyes were there. Let's see what happens.
As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel.
Which one can I get in that?
Whose the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkled like crystal light and was on the floor of the light. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, it would go in any one of the directions from each phase. The wheels did not turn out as the creatures could. Their rims were high and awesome, and all four rims were full of eyes on the ground. When the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved. And when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go. And the wheels would rise along with them because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. It sounds like a chariot.
It is.
They get it.
Oh, with eyes.
She said it sounds like chariot. And I said it is.
You know how like everybody, it's a really cool thing, you know, you have rims and wheels, you know, like all the fancy ones.
Yeah.
Now just imagine like, okay, God just talked all that, right? Like,
Yeah.
He designed something that's got eyes in it. Come on now.
You don't have rims like that. So there's big rims, and then there's a rim inside of a rim. A wheel in a wheel, and most of the depictions that you'll see that I saw in the understanding is you got one rim this way and one rim this way, and that's how you can go forward, you can go sideways. Just that's why this thing doesn't ever have to turn. And yeah, they have eyes.
Yeah, that was just crazy.
Yeah. Just in 19 and 21 through 21 we get this: when the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved, and when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. So when they move, it moves, right? Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise among them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. And then it starts all over again. When the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. When the creature rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them, because the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Right? So these repetitive sentences, right? Someone really wants us to know that the spirit is what's moving us. So I hope we're paying attention, because like when the Bible tells us something twice, we better pay attention. I love that, because that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing right now. So,
You know, when you look at those gyroscopes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's constant motion.
Yes.
It's constant.
yes.
And eyes, to me, that's God. That's God seeing. So I mean, I have this
Yeah.
moment about
Yes.
that's God seeing everything, no matter what direction it's coming from or going.
So that's right. So that's the creatures, though, or the wheels on the creatures. It's God's presence.
Here.
That's correct. It's all in the air. He's looking up, and because we'll get a hint from that, because he looks up through the platform. So yes, correct. He is looking up, Ezekiel, to see this. I I've looked at a lot of pictures. I'm actually going to show one, but every picture just falls miserably short.
You think it's because it's all the girls to understand that we have something that's so
Yes.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
Something way above.
That's it. He has to take his limited vocabulary and knowledge and try to explain the unexplainable. I think that's a great way to put it.
Right.
That's it. And that's what when the curtain gets peeled back for Ezekiel, he's trying to process all this.
And we're talking about this.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. If you haven't got that, like that is it. This is the Holy Spirit. This is the God's Spirit moving and guiding and directing. The whole Trinity's here. We're not going to really get into that till next week. Come back. But man, I didn't even get halfway through my notes. There's so much here to get in and to talk about and to right, and you really can't. And this vision is just a lot. And we're even going to go back and talk about a lot of this stuff because it is a lot to process.
Vocabulary and everything, and all of us are picturing these things. We have the advantage of growing up with like picture books.
Yes.
You're talking about got to be completely out of like left field for him, and then to try to describe this, at any time that had to be really hard. I mean, it would take me probably longer than 7 days to put it all.
Yeah.
Because I mean, wow, it's amazing.
Also, to the president's movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Hollywood can do okay trying to, but I think
Yeah, they don't have that.
once we actually know, like, well, I don't know if I'm wishing for that. Yes. Oh, 100%.
When Moses came from God.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah. We'll talk a little more about Isaiah next week, but there was so like the parallels between his vision. There's a lot that we're going to make some connections to. There's also a lot that's different, and those things were just as much worth noting as well because they're very different. In Isaiah and Ezekiel, they're like 100 and 150 years apart. And yet they still see very similar things as God reveals himself to them. But God does reveal himself into this prophet, and he has a word and he has a purpose. And Ezekiel just sees some crazy things before we even get there. But as we see these things, is this just a bunch of connected components here? Huh? There has to be a reason. Are they moving independently? There's a rhythm. They move together. Everything flows perfectly. It's harmony. How this thing moves is in harmony. That's what we would call peace, shalom, completeness. It just when it wants to go, they all go. When they shift, they all shift. And what causes them to shift? The Spirit.
There's no fighting the Spirit. There's none of that like humans would do. It's just go with the Spirit. Go right there. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Go right.
Yeah. This is not a.
Was he in Babylon?
Yes, he's in Babylon.
The assurance that you have come with.
It's a great pickup. Was God some dusty old God in a different land? He came with them, didn't he? In exile with all those pagans.
And God
10,000.
Yeah, he has Ezekiel's attention, and everyone that can you imagine when Ezekiel tries to go and tell people about this?
Yeah, right.
We're gonna have you committed, dude. Yeah. Yeah, right. This is a lot to process. Well, I didn't get near as far as I thought we would, but we got lots, and so we're gonna process. We're gonna sit on this, but as we wrap our heads around this, I think so far, for one, God continues to move even in exile. God fought. That's a great point, Barb. God continues to go where the people are. And everything this organism does, this spiritual being does, is motivated by God's presence. It doesn't do anything that God's presence isn't in it. I think that has a little bit to say to us today.
This is big anyway.
It doesn't. It doesn't even hesitate. And it moves together with the other parts in such beautiful harmony.
Tell ChatGPT to, okay, draw a creature inside, like, see what it comes with.
If you Google this, you'll see a million different images. And some are crazy, some are the most like.
It's like the Revelation monsters.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to show one next week, not because I think it captivates, but just kind of gives us an idea of what we're looking at, and because it's important. What's the cherubim's job?
Protect.
What's that?
Protect. Guard.
To guard. They guard a boundary, right? They protect. The cherubim's job is always to guard a boundary. Anytime you come into presence with a cherubim, they're guarding a boundary. And so, what's that? Yes,
Sounds cute.
they do, right? Pudgy little.
Cherub.
I'm actually going to show a little video next week. It's pretty good. I think I've showed it before, but yeah, this is not a pudgy little angel thing that shoots. Yeah, exactly. This is terrifying.
Yeah, that's always so fun. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's enough. Let's sit on that, just like Ezekiel, for 7 days, and we'll process. And so that's we'll just end there, and we'll just invite the Holy Spirit to move within us, within all this is all a look at the temple, which will become the church. God's is the head, and so what it's meant to work with the church, not just a local church, with the ecclesia of the church, and how it should operate. So a lot to say to us here. So we're gonna stop there. Read it. You can read the whole vision all the way to chapter 3. It'll just keep getting weirder. But yeah, we're gonna call that good enough, and we're gonna lay hands on my brother here, and we're just gonna pray for God's Spirit to move. All right. Out there. See you, brother.
I'll see you.